Weather for Weather Geeks time on this Monday evening. It's our daily deep dive into the Mahoning and Shenango Valley weather. This is our video in which we get crazy in-depth into the past, the current, and the future weather. Certainly can get to a lot more on these videos than I can on TV. Now, it's going to be a pretty quiet week overall, so these videos will be a little maybe shorter than usual this week. But one thing we can take a look at today, kind of an interesting little tidbit from a climatological standpoint. We see our peak average highs of 82 from July 7th through the 22nd. Well, yesterday was the 23rd, and yesterday begins the downward slide. Our average high dropped to 81 yesterday. It'll stay at 81 through August 11th, so we'll have almost 3 weeks with an average high of 81. So it's a real slow decline at first, but of course that decline gets more and more rapid as we head into the fall and early winter seasons. By January, for about 2.5 weeks in January, our average highs are 32, and that's where we bottom out. We've got a long way to go until we get to that point, but I did want to point out that we have now crested from a climatological standpoint, and it's all downhill from here until January. All right, back to the good news. Today was a very comfortable day of 75. That's it today. Below average by 6 degrees, and our coolest day for a while. Of course, we had a hot week last week. Midweek featured couple of upper 80s and a 90-degree reading Wednesday through Friday. So this was welcome relief for most people, I think, the cooler, less humid conditions. And speaking of the humidity, or what we like to refer to at this time of the year as the dew points, a measure of how much moisture is actually in the air. When dew points are in the 60s, yeah, it's pretty muggy. When dew points are in the 50s, in July especially, hey, we're doing all right. Dew points drop down into the upper 50s mid-afternoon today, and they continue to slide down this evening. It'll be much more comfortable tonight, and that trend will continue into the day tomorrow. 12-hour loop here of our latest and greatest high-resolution visible satellite shows a lot of cumulus clouds around today, and even a thick overcast at times today, and that's the case this evening as these thicker clouds continue sinking in from the south. What we actually have is a low-pressure system in the upper levels of the atmosphere right up here. That's producing rain up in New England. If this were January, we'd be talking about lake effect snow showers and things like that, but thankfully it's not January, so it's just some clouds around for now. Big picture across the U.S., we have our typical ridge position in the middle of summer out here in the middle of the country and down into the southwest, trough pushing into the west coast, and this is a pretty vigorous disturbance up here in the prairies of Canada. This eventually is what will bring us our next rain chances on Thursday. In the meantime, a pretty typical summer weather map here with a lot of heat in the Plain States, 90s up into Rapid City and North Platte and Dodge City, Dallas, 92 degrees. Certainly a pretty typical temperature map for this time of the year. All right, our weather tomorrow, pretty good. Now, I think the day can start with this deck of stratocumulus clouds around, but it's not going to be like that all day. I think the sky will brighten by midday and afternoon. Should be a great end of the day tomorrow. Beautiful evening tomorrow, and then a very comfortable night coming up for tomorrow night. Wednesday looks good as well, and after perhaps a foggy start in the river valleys on Wednesday afternoon will feature a lot of sun and warmer temperatures, and then it will get more humid for one day. That's coming up on Thursday. As we get a surge of moisture ahead of this next front, I think dew points will peak back into the 60s, and probably some showers and thunderstorms working in as we get into the afternoon. And some of these could be locally strong. We might have a severe weather risk across the region Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening. Notice our dew point trend here. It's I like this. Thursday's it with high dew points. Otherwise, very comfortable, especially for this time of the year. We're talking late July here, the last stretch of July. A lot of dew points in the 50s. Hey, we're playing with house money there. That's good stuff. All right, quick look at the longer range on Mondays and Thursday evenings. We get a fresh batch of data from the European modeling here. This is, we're looking at over the next month here, temperature anomalies. Not a very warm look here. Now, this model has shown a cool bias in the last handful of months, but even if this is looking too cool, it certainly doesn't scream sustained heat to me. It doesn't scream a lot of 90-degree days. I think it's looking a little more likely that the summer will probably be another one in which we have below average 90-degree temperatures. We average 8 or 9 days of 90 degrees or higher. We've only had 2 so far, and we're going to struggle to get up to 8 or 9 in this kind of pattern. Now, can there be occasional really warm days or even hot days in this pattern? Oh, you bet. We're in July and into August after all. But it doesn't look like the kind of pattern that's going to support sustained heat. 5, 6, 7 days in a row where it's really hot outside. That hasn't been the pattern we've been in this summer. Doesn't look like it'll be the pattern that we'll be in over the next month. At least according to that set of modeling. But that modeling has the support of some other data as well. So I tend to think it has, generally speaking, a pretty good idea. Thanks for watching Weather for Weather Geeks tonight. See you back here tomorrow night and have a wonderful Monday night.